Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host, yes, I'm back this week, Tom Howe, and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we join Cheryl Wright, External Care Workforce Lead at Proud To Care Cornwall, who highlights how the organisation is supporting care recruitment, retention and recognition across the sector here in the Duchy. We check in with Helen Tite, founder and managing director of iCare, iMove, whose team deliver empowering health and wellbeing services that support ageing well, menopause and movement for life. As well as that, we take a trip to visit Rachael and Simon, who introduce us to Gig Buddies, a befriending project connecting people with learning disabilities and autism with volunteers to share music and community events. If all that wasn't enough, we hear from folk singer-songwriter Will Keating, who returns to Chaos Radio to share his journey, inspirations and powerful performances rooted in Cornish traditions.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, regular listeners to Chaos Radio will know just how passionate we are about the care sector and the importance of celebrating the great work taking place every day right across Cornwall. Proud To Care Cornwall works with social care organisations to support recruitment and retention, as well as helping celebrate the hard work and dedication of those working in the sector. To explore their work more, Cheryl Gordon was joined by Cheryl Wright, External Care Workforce Lead at Proud To Care Cornwall.
NEWSWAVE.
We are proud to shout about all the great work that happens in our local communities without even being aware sometimes. You know, there's people who are being looked after in their own homes. There's people in care homes, residents, and also people being supported to live their lives as ordinarily as possible. So the Proud To Care team, so we're part of Cornwall Council and we are on a mission to support the adult social care sector. So we help out care providers, the employers who are taking on people who are out there on the front line delivering this wonderful care work, and we're just sort of helping them with that, with recruiting these people, attracting people into the roles. And we have a lot of fun on the way trying to sort of raise the profile of care and get people interested in seeing what a great career it can be.
Yeah, there's so many great opportunities working in care, and people might envisage it being like doing personal care, but it's not. It's so much involved.
Far from that now.
Far from it. It's a big picture, isn't it? You know, you're looking at supporting people socially and enabling them to do the things that they may not be able to manage on their own. So that support in that respect, going to hospital appointments, maybe maybe going to a gig. We had Gig Buddies on the other day.
We had people go to Butlins, have people have a boogie, and
I've known people take people to like Tenerife and even Australia as well. So there's so many great opportunities out there, and actually, you know, if you don't try and you don't find out, you don't know what you're missing, to be honest, do you?
I think that's it, you know. Like, I've been in the team 3 years now. My main role is like the marketing of it. So you might have seen billboards out in town, or we have a digi board that goes around with our adverts. And soon we've got some cinema adverts actually coming out. So we're trying to get out there. You know, we're on the radio with Chaos and that. So we just want to sort of shout about all the good work that's being done.
And it's not just about recruitment and job opportunities. You provide training opportunities and support for employers too. That's right, is it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, yeah, we do. people employing care workers aren't always looking for experience. You know, they just want people who've got the right values, they're honest, they're kind. And a lot of people, and in fact, you know, already have experience. They might be looking after their grandparents, children, their neighbours. So they can easily sort of transfer those skills across. And there's definitely a lot of career opportunities as well. I've had so many stories of people starting out and then sort of working their way up to senior, team leader, and then becoming like registered manager, which is just amazing.
Oh, I worked from the bottom up. I worked as a care assistant, and then I became a senior carer, and then I was in my last sort of position, I was a deputy care home manager.
There you go. Yeah.
So
yeah. In fact, the leader of Cornwall Council started in care. So did two of the directors underneath her. They started and they've worked their way right up. So it's definitely possible.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about award season. Proud to Care have a tradition of celebrating the fantastic work that happens in our care sector. This year's awards are just around the corner. How are the preparations coming along?
Oh, I have been head down sorting through the amazing response we've had. I mean, we've had triple the number of nominations this year, 760, and they've come from colleagues, managers, people who are supported, the families who see that support and the difference it makes on those people's lives, and they just take this opportunity to sort of recognise that. And honestly, Cheryl, the stories I've been reading have just been so heartwarming. I've had my box of tissues. It's just so touching to realise the actual support that's going on out there and the difference it is making on lives of people in Cornwall.
In an ideal world, you would love to give everybody something and an award in some way, but it must be near impossible to shortlist so many fantastic nominations. And what are the things the judges are really looking out for this year?
Well, saying that, I've made the effort actually to make sure that everyone nominated received their certificate and got to read the narrative of the nomination, because I felt they can't not see that what somebody has gone out of their way to say about them. So yeah, they've all had that, thankfully. We've got 10 wonderful categories this year, which sort of tried to capture all the different roles. So we've got care worker in the community, home care worker, support worker, and then we've also covered hidden treasures, we've called them. So these are people in the background who you don't really think about, who are like the chefs, the gardeners, the cooks, the admin. So they're all included as well. And we're just looking really for people who bring the magic. So that's exactly what someone said the other day. So we've brought in a group called the Citizen Checkers. So these are people with lived experience, and they came to help us shortlist because they're the ones who know what make a great care worker. And they said, which I loved, we're looking for people who bring the magic.
Makes 100% sense, doesn't it, really? Yeah, it's so good. What can we expect from this year's event, and when is it taking place and where? Also, are there any juicy secrets you can share with us?
Wow. Last year we had such a wonderful event at Tregenna Castle. This year we're at the iconic Eden Project, and we're having a lovely sit-down dinner this time, and we're still having a wonderful after party as well, so everyone can get up on their feet and celebrate. So that's going to be on the 19th of September. We've got there's going to be some surprises in on the night, and we've got the wonderful Henry from Chaos hosting again. And I mean, what a host!
Who? He's on holiday this week, so we can't get him to enter the studio and make a big announcement.
But I'm sure he's looking forward to it just as much as we are,
Yeah,
so.
He does. To be fair to him, he does a really good job, and it's good to sort of encourage people. Now, the other thing is the event is being live streamed again this year too. Why is it such an important feature to include?
Oh, I tell you why, because unfortunately, any venue that we've tried to secure have such a limited capacity on people who can actually come, and we've been inundated with people desperate to come along, and we want everyone there, but it's just not possible. So thankfully Chaos are providing a live stream, which means that anyone can watch from anywhere, you know, sitting at home, even people in the care home, they can all just watch and actually cheer along people they know, you know, and watch them receive these awards.
I must admit, I always enjoy watching it. It's just a golden moment. It's a proud moment to know that yourself is being part of it, but to see other people still coming along and doing such incredible work is just so heartwarming, isn't it?
Definitely, it is all about them, and we want to bring their stories to life, and you know, encourage other people and inspire people to think, you know, I could do that. That could be me next year, you know, standing on the stage, being applauded and recognised for doing some really important and valuable work for the local people of Cornwall.
I think sometimes, you know, care is seen in a negative light, and I think this is where this is making sure that people realise and got their moment to shine. And I think what I say to people is watch the live stream, and we'll be putting it out there and telling everybody about the ways of doing that leading up to the event, but seeing and listening to the stories about the people that work in it, and like you said, next year that could be you that could be up on that stage. Yeah exactly, that's it. You know, but yeah, it's been a really tough job trying to get through, to try and whittle them down to 3 is near impossible. This year we do have some sponsors who are going to help us along with that process, and they're doing the judging next week. So anyone who has been nominated, watch out for some emails to let you know that you've been invited as a finalist to the night. Oh, it's very exciting.
Golden tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheryl, please could you remind us again where the listeners can find out more information about Proud to Care and how they can keep up to date with what's happening?
Sure. So yeah, we have a website at proudtocarecornwall.org.uk, and on our website we have a jobs board, and at the moment we've got over 150 jobs all across Cornwall in the sector. And there's also information on there about sort of training opportunities, just more you know, about care roles themselves. And you can also follow us on our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We're always posting like job of the week and sharing you know, updates and news. So yeah, stick around.
Oh, it's incredible. Can't wait for the night, for it all happening, and the fact that, you know, Chaos will be there streaming it live.
Henry will have his glittery jacket on.
He will.
I'm sure.
He will, and he will make his grand entrance, I'm sure, in some way or another. So do look forward to that. I congratulate everybody that's been nominated. You should be really proud of yourself. Whether you get through to the final or not, you're all winners. And
absolutely,
you do a wonderful, wonderful job. Cheryl, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. I've heard about your name all the time, and when it gets close to like the event, I keep hearing Cheryl, and I keep thinking they're talking about me, but I'm not the one and only like Chesney Hawkes. There is Cheryl Wright, extraordinaire, Proud to Care as well.
I really appreciate you having me on today. Thank you, Cheryl.
NEWSWAVE.
Now, iCare, iMove deliver life-changing health and well-being services designed to support ageing, menopause and functional movement. Whether in the workplace, at home or in the community, they empower people to stay active, independent and thriving. Now, I'm excited to welcome friend of Chaos and all-round beautiful human being, Helen Tite, Managing Director and Founder of iCare, iMove, who joined Cheryl Gordon.
NEWSWAVE.
I think at the heart of everything who I am is trying to make a difference, a better difference in the world. So, and that will show itself in lots of different ways. iCare, iMove today focuses on midlife and beyond. What that means is that we talk about, support, educate, guide around this aging malarkey, because we're all getting older. How quickly is up to you. So I'm an exercise scientist, I'm a fitness professional, and I've taught fitness all my life. over time that's changed, and what I've recognized that people are a little bit more broken, a little bit more wobbly, we're dealing with more and more chronic health conditions, and that's my bag. And I really like helping those that just need more support around getting older. And we've got one body, we come in naked, we leave naked. Let's try and maximize it and try and do what we can to really optimize our health so we live longer, better. That sounds woolly. I show up doing different things. So it might be that I'm working with a postmenopausal woman who's left the workplace because she's struggling with her mental health. Maybe I'll do some mentoring and coaching with her to help her move through this time of her life and, set some goals and help her to move forward. I can work with a business around education, particularly around women's health. I talk about men's health too, but there is absolutely a health inequality when it comes to women's health. And then the other end of the spectrum, we deliver the falls prevention service in the community for Cornwall. So we're delivering the evidence-based fitness movement patterns to older people everywhere in Cornwall. And if we can't do it in person, we do it digitally. And that's just totally epic. It's just really good fun. Is that it?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that that explanation of the things that you do is pretty incredible. And I think one of the things that, I want to say is, why aging well is so important? Because we often all struggle with different aspects of aging. We being a 48-year-old woman now, and many things changing about myself, I think it's important to have that discussion, but also how we go about aging well is so important, Helen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we've been age shamed for a very long time, more so women than men. So it's all about, anti-wrinkle, anti-aging. And actually, it's like we've been young. We don't need to try and prove ourselves there. This is about aging well. The problem is we're very reliant on our NHS. So when things go wrong, we go to the GP and expect something put on us and us get fixed. We all know in society now that the NHS can't cope with that. We have to be more preventative. We need to be looking after ourselves a bit better. And honestly, it's the phrase I hear the most when I work with my older population, and our oldest is 103. And they say, if only I started this sooner. If only I looked after myself better in my midlife. This is not about preventing disease. It's about delaying disease. We're just not aging well. So if we start, and over the years, I've been commissioned to deliver aging well services, and then decommissioned because I'm too preventative. And now we finally have grasped that prevention really does make a difference, and we can extend our lives well if we just make some small changes. Now, I think what happens is we all go, move more, sit less, eat better, but we don't actually explain how, and it's the how bit that I like to spend more time. I'm telling you to exercise and you've never been an exerciser, and you tell me that you hate, I don't know, the bike, and I'm going to tell you how to get on the bike. It's just, it doesn't make sense. You'll never enjoy it. So it's finding things in your life that makes you that fills you with joy, that then in turn becomes the thing that helps to prevent you getting sick. And that's kind of the magic piece. So aging is, it's all happening. We're all getting older from the second we're born, but we go into this denial phase, particularly from midlife, and we don't want that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. If we could stay 28, we'd stay 28, wouldn't we? It doesn't work that way.
I'm not sure. I don't think I'd want to be 28 again. I quite like my 40s. I'm 54 now, and I like this stage of my life. I feel like I'm more empowered now than I've ever been. And don't get me wrong, things are always falling off of me or out of me. And, I'm trying to navigate this post-menopause malarkey. But I actually feel stronger healthier, better, more focused, more resilient now than ever before.
I've got 2 years to, well, just under 2 years to get to that point then, Helen, so I'll be all right. Tell us about the menopause education, because it's a huge part of what you do, and you've got some great you've got a great Facebook page where women can come together and talk about what their issues and how they're feeling, etc., and can express themselves. The beauty of it is no men are invited, so women can feel there's no discrimination meant there, but it's important to understand that people have a platform and a space to be able to talk.
100%. It's difficult. If we can't have our own conversation with women, there are still many women that come from very stressful environments. And when we set up the Menopause Muse Facebook group, I was going through quite a traumatic perimenopause stage of my life, but equally I was working with a lot of women that were coming through domestic violence and sexual abuse, and they just didn't feel like they could talk about their female health in a mixed space. So we made that conscious decision all those years ago. Let's talk about menopause in a women-only, non-selling space, and we've had some backlash for it, because we're talking about our allies. It is about discrimination, but quite frankly, many of us were raised in that taboo. We don't talk about our female health, and that's changing, because when we don't talk about it, we don't know what's right. We don't know or understand what's going on with our own bodies. And our mums and grandmothers may have come from that generation where they just shut us down because it was just very private. And my mum's Irish Catholic. So, my mum was like, oh, be Jesus, all the saints in heaven. And she'd do the sign of the cross and wave her hands in the air if I asked anything remotely to do with her female health. So the Menopause Muse group came out of that. So we go in with the science, so we explain actually what's happening, and these are the symptoms, but equally in that space we have a moan. We talk about good practice, we talk about experiences when you're trying to navigate the NHS with your menopausal symptoms. So and then what happens is they just become very empowered and reinforced with current up-to-date knowledge, trying to break those taboos, trying to get rid of those myths that sit around HRT, for example. So there's a lot of education, but we do it without forcing it. There's it's like just being held in a safe space to educate, and no question is a daft question.
I think the thing is, we get educated at a young age about sort of menstrual cycles, but no one ever tells us about, you've got that to deal with, but then you've got the next stages to deal with as well, the perimenopause and the menopause, and actually it becomes a massive shock, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially if I'm the only girl. There was lots of boys in my family. My mum didn't talk about it, so it was just like, God, how am I going to figure it out? But I think from my point of view, I was teaching a lot of fitness classes, and so my demographic are predominantly female, and they were struggling, and I didn't know how to help them. So I went and did my training to understand better around what menopause looks like, feels like. And actually, what I see more and more now, if you think, so the average female will menopause at 51. That's the guidelines. In the old days, you die at 52 in the Victorian years. So this whole piece after 50 is a fairly relatively unexplored territory for many women. So consequently, she's probably working, and she's probably going to stay working until she's 67, 68. And what does that look like? And how can we support her better? And how can we keep her healthy and well during a phase that nobody really understands because there's not enough research around it? So that's the bit that I love, supporting women so they thrive in these years. I'm all about bringing back the crone, because I think, we used to revere these wise wicker women, and now we're like, oh, anti-aging, she's got Botox, she's having fillers, she's refusing to embrace her age. Let her do it, whatever that looks like.
How do you go about getting into businesses and sort of going, hello, let's talk about this? Because, you know, many of us are going into work, we're doing our daily jobs, but actually we're dealing with that, maybe mental health factors, those physical factors that are in it. How do you make a difference by doing that?
It's a real challenge. When I first started talking to companies, because it makes sense, what I'm talking about makes sense, and it's obvious. So it feels like, why would we bring somebody in when we know this stuff? So my job is to help to embed a better culture around wellbeing. Again, the challenge with this, and it's been historical, that there aren't really budget lines for it to pay for someone like me to come in and talk to your business. So, and what I learned in the early days, if I was approaching a company around menopause, often I'd be rejected. So now I talk about women's health, and I talk about men's health, and I talk about aging rather than just menopause, because we still haven't moved into that realm yet. So when I talk to businesses, it's like, let's understand a bit more around your company. You know, when you think, you know, the care sector, for example, predominantly at the coalface, it's women. And often they're carers, or are in the sector because they've had a caring experience. And they need supporting better, because there's such a high turnover of staff. So how can we help the businesses support their people? Because ultimately we need the people to do the jobs, right? And what we see is, when we sort of embed some of these ideas and methods, open conversations, education around managing, living with mental ill health, all of these things, suddenly you start to feel valued as a member of a team, and you don't feel the fear that you've taken time off work because you're sick, and now you've got to talk to a manager who doesn't get it. So you'll bend the truth, and you'll go, oh, it was a migraine, and you won't actually tell the truth on what's going on with your health because you don't feel like you're being supported. That's the magic, where we just like help you have, all of you have better conversations around who you are as a human. And then with that, try to embed that culture. So try to, like, it's all lip service. We've got the policy. That's fine. No. Let's make it properly work. So you as a human feels valued in the workplace, and you show up, all of you. The anxiety, the injury, the illness, all of you, the parent, the child, all of you needs to be in that workplace. There's no compartmentalizing. We are multitaskers now as humans, and bring it all, you know, and it just makes you a better person. You spend a lot of time in the workplace, you know, we've got to support you better around that.
That's just a incredible sort of conversation, isn't it, really? And I think you know, I am lucky where I work, and it is embraced very, very well. I would hate to be in a work environment where people aren't felt valued and aren't, you know, whatever the process they might be going through, supported in some way or another. And I think by you having these conversations, it is about making a difference for those people, for the people that are so important.
Yeah. And I think I'm very lucky. I do a lot of front-facing leadership work, and I'm confident. But then I think about all those people who don't have that confidence or don't have that platform to share their voices. So I like to represent, and you know, if I have these struggles, me 54, and I think I know my stuff, what about those that just can't fight their corners enough? And I think that's really, really important. Like, let's support them better. An example, so I'm not being ambiguous about it, HRT prescriptions. You know, it just drives me nuts when you go, and so this is my personal experience. You go to the chemist, you collect some of your prescription, and then you get an IOU. That means that the chemist has the money for delivering the service but not actually giving you the goods, so you don't get your HRT. And there is a shortage of a lot of HRT products on the market, so you just get this note saying IOU. It's like, hang on a minute, that's not good enough. Why are you doing that? And they go, well, it's, you know, it's this, I don't value your need. So with HRT, for example, I struggled, and I've been always very open about it. I've really struggled with my mental ill health, and I went through a very dark period of my life where I was really struggling with my mental health as a result of my perimenopause. And I'm frightened. If I can't have my HRT, I know that my mental health will be affected because I'm going to lose estrogen in my body. And that's me. That's my reaction. And I'm frightened because I didn't like that person. I was scared, and I'm frightened for my family. So when I'm flippantly given a piece of paper saying IOU, I'm like, take me seriously, because it's not fun when this happens, and this happens frequently. So I'm empowered. God love them. The people in the pharmacy go, oh my God, she's here, and she's going to kick off. And
quite rightly,
but, you know, yeah. But what about all those other women that have been palmed off? That's my point. It's like, we've got to advocate for more and more people so they feel valued. And that's just one typical example. God love them. And I'm blessed. I work with GPs. I work with our NHS. I do try and support a lot of people around this. But this is a day-to-day problem that's happening in our Cornwall, in pharmacies around Cornwall, where that there isn't stock, and you just give it an IOU. You're like, no, find me a solution, find me an alternative. Help me.
I feel that we need to talk more about this, Helen, and get you a bit more regular here with us on Chaos Radio, because it's so important. We need to sort this out, and I'm going to make it a mission to do that. It's been so incredible talking to you this morning. It's so empowering every time I speak to you, and knowing that you empower so many people and want to make a difference in our local community. Helen, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
Social media channels. So my company is called iCare, iMove. So you can always email on iCareIMove.com. We have a 0800 number. Can I give that out?
Yeah, of course you can.
0800 0541 118. But as I say, iCare iMove, we're on all the social media channels. My team, if you're joining the falls prevention courses, phone them, speak to them, and then they'll do the rest. You can self-refer onto any of our programs. They're free and funded, particularly around falls prevention. So yeah, just start a conversation, and that's what I encourage with anyone that makes contact with us, because you never know where it's going to lead. If you want to understand a bit more about health, just start, have a cup of tea with me, and let's see where we can how we can support you better.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, so I'm Tom Howe, and you're listening to NEWSWAVE on Chaos Radio. Blue Light Day took place recently, a brilliant event bringing together people with learning disabilities and autism alongside Cornwall's emergency services. Among the many fantastic community projects represented was Gig Buddies, a new befriending scheme from Brandon Trust. Now, Janice Rose was joined by Rachael Meller from the Brandon Trust and by Simon, who tells us more about what they do and how you can get involved.
NEWSWAVE.
We are joined here by the wonderful Rachael Meller from the Brandon Trust and Simon from Gig Buddies Cornwall. Now, I met them at Blue Light Day, which took place in Wadebridge, which was a brilliant event bringing together people with learning disabilities and autism alongside Cornwall's emergency services. Among the fantastic community projects represented was Gig Buddies, a new befriending scheme from the Brandon Trust. Now, I'm joined by Rachael Meller from the Brandon Trust and Simon to tell us more about what they do and how you can get involved. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Janice, for having us. It's a great honour. What do you think, Simon?
Thank you very much.
It's wonderful to have you here. So, Rachel, can you start by telling us what is Gig Buddies? Tell us all about it.
So, Gig Buddies it's an initiative that the Brandon Trust bought from the Stay Up Late charity, which is it started in Brighton about 13 years ago, and it's all about getting people with learning disability or autism out to mainstream social events, giving people the confidence to just go out and enjoy life. That's basically the premise of all of it.
I loved when I was talking with Rich White, who's also a member of Gig Buddies, and he said to me the fact that a lot of people's care packages end at 5 o'clock. So what do you do if you're a young person or a more senior person that wants to go out to a gig?
Yeah, well, fortunately, at Brandon, they go on till about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But even then, some of the good bands don't start till 9 p.m. So you really do struggle. If you're going to go out with a support worker, not only do you have to buy their ticket, you have to pay for their time, and it just becomes a really expensive outing. So at Gig Buddies, what we do, we look for volunteers and we look for participants, and we like to match people who've got similar interests, live in a similar village or close by. They can go out together, and it's just about having fun.
But with the volunteers, is there a training regime they need to go through, or how do you choose and match volunteers to gig attendees?
So it's really easy to volunteer with us. We have a quick chat over Teams, or we can meet up if geography allows. We DBS check all our volunteers so that we are quite strict on that. But it's just about getting to know each other. We hold a social once a month on the last Tuesday of every month at the Old Ale House in Truro, which is a great pub.
Oh, it's brilliant.
We go upstairs in there, we play board games, darts, pool, have some music, and we just all hang out there. And from there, we can sometimes see when people start to get on and they're chatting about different things that they're interested in. We have, gig is a really broad topic. It could be theatre, it could be cinema, it could be going out for meals, and we just watch who gets along with who, and then we have that matching, and hopefully we get it right.
And I love it's the whole experience that a person doesn't need to travel there alone either. You can hopefully match them up either with a car journey or go together on train.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever. So that is all part of the interview process. We find out whether people can travel independently. If they can't, we can match them with somebody with a car who doesn't mind driving. We do ask that people contribute towards fuel. It's quite expensive, but it's about friendship, and it's just like you would when you went out with your friend. You'd always put some fuel money in. It's about going out with your friend, not support.
Okay, so if we can bring Simon now into the conversation, that would be lovely. As you're part of the Gig Buddies teams, aren't you? So how has that made a difference to you and your social life?
Makes it a lot easier to experience more things. Like at Plymouth, how I enjoyed myself so much. I like to do it again. That sort of thing every time.
No, you seem to be having a wonderful time there, and that's why I met Rich for the first time. And I know I need to speak to this gentleman because it seems to be, a great thing that you're putting together. Yeah. So have you met lots of new friends via Gig Buddies as well?
Yes, all up in the ale house and all. I enjoyed myself playing darts with Richard or playing games, I don't mind, or yapping. It makes more experience.
So how many gigs have you been to with a buddy?
Just Plymouth, that's it for the moment.
Okay.
Just waiting patiently.
What for the next one?
Yeah, that or a Gig Buddy as well.
Oh, right, okay. So at Plymouth, a lot of the people were there helping out the organisation as well. Were you doing that?
No, I was just there enjoying myself.
Well, that seems like a great thing to be able to do, and it seemed like a lot of people were having an awful lot of fun, and it's nice that you could represent Gig Buddies and tell people exactly what's going on there. I bet it's made it quite a difference and an eye-opening to your life as well, being able to now think, oh, there's a gig coming up, and not wondering, oh, but I need to go there by myself. Hey, I can find out someone to match with.
Yes, true.
So you're there looking at all the posters, are you? Thinking, where do I want to go?
Yes, that's true.
Oh, so are you sort of a heavy rock man, or do you listen to everything?
Everything I listen to. I love everything. Celtic music, Irish, American, all different things.
And when you're at Plymouth, you got some autographs as well, didn't you?
Yes,
Who
I did.
did you manage to get autograph from at the Plymouth?
Two girl fans. And Natalie and Brulia. I didn't get the chorus or anything.
Oh, well,
shame.
It's nice to get Natalie because I do love her single. That's really good, isn't it?
She's British and Australian.
I know, she's brilliant.
Yeah.
So how can people become either a Gig Buddy volunteer, or what kind of commitment is involved? Shall we turn that to Rachel?
Yeah, of course. So in order to become a volunteer, just get in touch with us via the socials, or you can email us at gigbuddies@brandontrust.org. Either myself or Rich will get back to you, and then we can tell you what's coming up.
Yeah, so what sort of difference have you seen it make in the lives of people that you support?
Oh, it's great. It's like Simon doesn't go out very much. He wasn't going out at all before he contacted Gig Buddies, and he contacts us every week. He looks at what's on. He's like, "Hey, Gig Buddies, have you seen this?" And it just makes such a difference to people's social lives. Otherwise, they might miss out. They might not go to places. It takes a lot of confidence to walk into a pub on your own.
Oh, yes,
or
it
to
does.
walk to a gig on your own. And just being able to match people up and all go together, it's a really good feeling.
And I imagine when you meet up at the old ale house as well, it's nice to see people's confidence sort of flourished, isn't it?
Yeah, and people develop and they become more independent, they become more confident every week. Sometimes they'll ask us to meet outside and then we can walk people in, and then after 3 weeks they're just coming in all together.
I absolutely love that. So do you have any upcoming events or gigs that you're particularly excited about?
So on the 28th of July, I think that's the last Tuesday of the month, that's our next social event at the Ale House. Tomorrow we will be at Helifest, if anybody wants to come and see us at Helifest. The week after, the lovely Rich will be at Kernotopia. That's going to be for all the ravers.
He was so looking forward to that. I cannot tell you how much he was talking about.
He loves that one. He was there last year. He'll be back better this year. And then the day after is the autism awareness at Red Ruth Rugby Club. Our charity store will be there, and followed by the games night. That's it.
Goodness gracious, you are so busy, and you work at the Brandon Trust as well. I mean, how do you manage to fit it all in?
Oh, Brandon are brilliant. They facilitate all of this, with support from Cornwall Council. They've got this initiative going because they recognise there was a gap in Cornwall, and we really want to combat social isolation.
Yes, in Cornwall it is a beautiful place, but you can, unless you actively look outside, you can become quite isolated, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's so rural. And that's one of the things that we found, but we've got some great volunteers that go around and pick people up for the socials, and all come, and we work together.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And finally, where can people find out more information? Do you have a website, or are you on the socials?
We're on the socials. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. It was all through Linktree as well. Or you can, like I say, you can just email us at gigbuddies@brandontrust.org.
Okay, I'm going to ask the next question to Simon. Simon, if someone's out there and they're a little worried about getting in contact with Gig Buddies and a little bit shy, what would you say to them to encourage them to come to the games night, or to get in touch to find a Gig Buddy to go out to a concert with?
Just don't be shy to come up and talk to someone, and they explain it more one-to-one.
Yeah.
Make it feel much better for them. It makes it easy for them to stop worrying. You know them then.
Yeah, so there's lots of friendly faces around, so that's all good. So thank you so much indeed for joining us. That's Gig Buddies, Rachael Mellor from the Brandon Trust, and Simon, a brilliant example of communities building to supporting inclusion, independence and friendship. And if you want to find out more, head over to Gig Buddies Cornwall on Facebook. And if you missed any part of that interview or want to hear it again, just head over to the catch-up section on our website at chaos.radio.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, time now for another very special guest. Mr. Will Keating can often be found singing with a Falmouth-based male vocal group known as the Oggy Men, who are highly regarded for their sense of humour, beautiful four-part harmonies and heartfelt songs. Joe, sorry, let me do that bit again. In 2016, Will took the decision to also try his luck at gigging alone with his acoustic guitar and stomp box. Totally inspired by Cornwall's rich history and heritage, and the songs penned by his mentor, Harry Safari Glasson, he hit the road. Will combines Harry's and his own songs with traditional Cornish and Celtic folk songs and has received accolades from far and wide. We were pleased to welcome Will back to Chaos Radio this week for a chat with Cheryl Gordon on Breakfast.
NEWSWAVE.
Quite often you can see this gentleman out and about gigging. He was male vocal in a group known as the Oggy Men, who were highly regarded for their sense of humour, beautiful four-part harmonies and heartfelt songs. In 2016, Will took the decision to try out his luck and go gigging alone with his acoustic guitar and stump box. And I can totally tell you that he's so inspired by Cornwall's rich history, heritage, you name it. He is just amazing with some of the music that he does. And I'm absolutely so pleased to welcome back to Chaos Radio a friend of Chaos Radio, no other than Will Keating. Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good morning. Yeah, very well. Thank you. Yeah, not too bad at all.
It's a pleasure to have you back, and of course we've not spoke for a while. I think we saw each other coming on near 12 months ago now at a little gig in Falmouth that you were doing in order to help a local charity raise funds. So you're never a man that sits idly, are you?
No. I think I'm self-diagnosed neurodiverse. I think, as most musicians are. But no, yeah, it's a busy. Well, it's always a busy time in my life. Having 4 daughters, and also gigging relentlessly and doing lots of amazing, exciting things. Now we've given you a bit of an introduction, but can you tell the listeners, because it can no other come better from you than it can from any introduction I can give you. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, basically, Will. Okay, so for 9 years now, I've been a professional musician, so earning my crust through mainly playing live, actually, although, streaming platforms and stuff on Spotify, etc. It gives me a tiny little stream of income, but mainly I earn my income from gigging. And so I gig relentlessly, doing sort of live performances at local venues. I also work with community projects, so I do I like working with primary schools. Basically, even my live performances, it's about getting audience engagement and trying to get people singing and trying to get children singing. An easy way and the songs I sing, a lot of them written by Harry Glasson. So they sort of they talk about Cornwall's rich history and heritage. So I see it as a good way of teaching children, especially about that subject by singing, basically. Yeah. So I try and get as many people singing as possible, because singing is good for you, as you know.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to sort of induce those endorphins, those feel-good endorphins, and it's great for your mental health, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Which I mean, you've had big events at the Hall for Cornwall where you got all those children together and for a whole day. I mean, more than once you've done this now, haven't you?
Yeah, and thankfully Chaos have supported that, and I can't big you guys up enough for the community work you do. And I see what I do, it goes hand in hand with what you do as well. And it's I took basically 1,000 children for the last 2 years. I've taken 1,000 children from primary schools for a Cornish mass sing. The only sad thing about it is that no one can witness it, really, which is why Chaos come along and film it, because the 1,000 children are sat in the audience, so parents can't come. But I have got exciting news for November. On Sunday the 2nd of November, I'm actually doing 2 performances at the Hall for Cornwall. One in the afternoon, which is for families, so children and parents and grandparents and guardians can come along. And the ticket prices are really cheap for that one. The children is only £6, I think. Adults £11. And then in the evening, I'm doing it's called Call My Home with special guests. So performing, although I haven't announced it yet, but I suppose I have now. I've got the Oggy Men performing with me. I've got Harry Glasson, who wrote Call My Home, performing with me. True Foxes are going to be performing, and various other musicians. So Sunday the 2nd of November, I'm really looking forward to.
That sounds absolutely awesome. Some great, True Foxes. We've linked up with them before as well, and they're incredible.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're off on tour with Steve Knightley, which is they're doing a UK tour during the winter, and then myself and them are going to be doing another tour of Cornish churches in January and February, which is exciting as well.
Lovely. I think it's just beautiful because, when an artist paints a picture and you can see, and I can almost see and paint that picture, if I were to look forward when I was listening to that song, of all the different things in it, you create a great sort of picture of everything you can see.
Yeah, and how he does that with most of his songs, he's such a simple, the words are so simple, but as you say, it's painting pictures of our beautiful Cornwall, and at the time it was something that we took for granted, I suppose, walking around Cornwall, isn't it, and travelling about because we weren't allowed to. So it's nice that it sort of just held that sort of capture of time in a song, if you like, and I really enjoyed performing it. I sent it as soon as me and Harry had finished. I did a little version. I sent it over to John Dowling, the amazing banjo player that I gig with, and he put an amazing banjo track on it. And as soon as he'd done that, I thought, oh, wow, this is going to be great. And then when we recorded it for my difficult second album, which was released in May, it's the first time I ever used a brass section, which was quite exciting as well, because I'd never done that before. So getting into the studio and using a proper drummer and brass section was really exciting.
Oh, I bet it was when it all comes together as well, and you've got the end result, and then you know that people are going to hear the work that goes into that. It must be incredibly heartwarming.
Yeah, it is. It's a very long process. Or for this one, it was a long process for me. So by the time it's done, I'm sort of, I just want to get it out there. I'm pretty sick of listening to it, because I'm listening to it probably hundreds of times, tweaking this, tweaking that, and I suppose you can go on and on and on with that, looking for perfection, if you like. But no, I was really pleased with the results. It was a difficult second album, and I'm looking forward to the simple third album.
Totally. Come on, you don't like to do things simply, do you? Let's face it. So
no, I do tend to, as my wife would say, I do tend to overcomplicate things, and I've and agree to do too many things, but that's me, I suppose.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, Will. It's a real.
Well, as long as it's positive stuff,
Yeah. And having a passion for what you do, and for the things that go on in Cornwall. I think we're so incredibly lucky to live in such a wonderful place. I've got friends that don't live in Cornwall and sort of say, oh, you're incredibly lucky to live where you are. And actually, sometimes I don't think we always value what we've got on our doorsteps.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's the great thing about my job, is the fact that when I'm singing these songs, it brings it home. It brings it home to me and brings it home to the audience, hopefully. So, to remind them that we do live in such a beautiful place, and we are very lucky.
For anyone that's considering singing, songwriting, or indeed learning to play an instrument, what advice would you give to them?
I would say the advice I always give to the youngsters is to practice little and often, rather than, for instance, rather than practice the guitar for an hour a weekend, you're better off practicing for 5 to 10 minutes every single day. So I always encourage, especially guitarists, to the first thing to buy once you bought a guitar is to buy a guitar stand. Don't leave it in the bag, because if the guitar's in the bag, you won't pick it up. Whereas if it's accessible, you know, if I put the kettle on, I can have a little twiddle with my guitar. Do you know what I mean? And your muscle memory gets or establishes quicker if you're doing things little and often rather than once a week, for instance. But also, you know, you got to enjoy it. And you got to love it. Like anything, if you have a passion for something, you're more likely to stick at it and fight through those barriers which will inevitably come.
Yeah, I totally understand that, and especially for my sort of story with radio presenting, that it works that way as well. And you just value things so much more, don't you, in that respect?
Yeah, and if you love it, you would have come across times where you thought, oh, I can't do it, or you doubt yourself. Shall I? Why am I doing it? Should I? You know. But if you love it, you think sod it, don't you? You just go for it, and you fight through those barriers. So I think if you can find something that you're passionate about, I mean, it took me, you know, a long time. I'm 53 now, and I've only been a professional musician for 9 years. So it took me a long time to realise exactly what my passion was. And when you find it, you know, grasp it and go for it.
Absolutely. Well, for anyone wanting to follow yourself and where you might be gigging, where can they find out that information, please?
So best place is on my social media. I've got Will Keating. If you just type in Will Keating Cornwall into Facebook, it will come up with me. I sort of try and post a month in advance where I'm going to be, because there's so many gigs. It does take me a bit of time to get it all sorted, but so that's the best place to find me. You can also have a look on my website. I think there might be something on that, which is just willkeatingcornwall.com. It should be on there as well.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to Cheryl Wright, External Care Workforce Lead at Proud To Care Cornwall, to Helen Tite, Managing Director and Founder of iCare, iMove, to Rachael Meller from Brandon Trust and gig buddy Simon, and to Cornish folk singer-songwriter Will Keating. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. I'm Tom Howe, thank you so much for listening. Whatever you're doing, be sure to keep it chaos.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.